working mom creates an extremely independent child, and that's my learning, and that's not my individual life learning, it's a learning from my peers. The kind of independence that gets inculcated in a child of a working mom it's amazing, and I'm extremely proud of what I have been able to give to my child on that front.
One question that I have is, what is the growth like for somebody who has graduated like you from IML, gotten into a role of something that you did not understand because the JD mentioned something else. I'm sorry, the name of the position was something else and you were expecting it to be something else. But from there, how does one grow? That's one. And with growth, how much demanding it becomes as a job?
Between an IIM and probably a non-IIM, I would give a 5-year kind of a benchmark to set the ground to zero. What that means is that till you're about 5 years out of campus, there is this brand and the tag which drags you along. तुम perform करो ना करो, अरे IIM का है यार, अच्छा ही होगा. That's the psyche, that's the mentality that pushes you along in your job. After the 6th year, it's only what you've done in the last 5 years that matter. Beyond that, your brand is of no use. So that's how growth, I would define growth between an IIM and a non-IIM, or how and you know, any other college, you're out there, you have 5 years to establish yourself. If you've established yourself, by then you are going to perform as well or maybe better than any IIM student out there. So that's where it is. So it's 75 hours our weeks when you start off, but as time progresses, you probably get in more efficient, or you get in more, you start caring less. One of the two happens. I don't know which of the two happens, but the 75-hour weeks go away. Now you're just making sure somebody else is doing the 75-hour weeks and you are not working as much. So it does get better in terms of hours, but much 10 times more taxing in terms of pressure, in terms of people management, in terms of targets, and all those things that you would have anyways heard about.
Helly, have you worked somewhere abroad, or have you largely been based in India where you have worked in?
I've largely been based in India, but of course I've been across, I've spent about 6 months in Singapore. I'm currently working for a Canadian pension fund, so that's a Canada-based company, so yeah. I do shuttle a lot. I do spend about couple of months a year in Canada, and yeah, Europe because of clients. So enough travel to know how people in other countries work, but otherwise roots in India.
I'll come to the Canadian stint, but before that, when you were working with Singapore, a client in Singapore, when you were working there, what did you see different in terms of the kind of work that they do, or the clients that you handled there, in comparison to the clients that you have handled in India? If significantly something stood out for you while you were, kind of working for them on something?
I would say it's the hierarchy is much more pronounced globally than in India. So in India, you have more of an entrepreneurial culture in most organizations. Maybe not all, but अगर तू कर सकता है तो कर ले. It doesn't matter whether you are a junior or a senior or a mid-level person. कर सकता है तो कर ले. मतलब क्या फर्क पड़ता है? But in other geographies and other regions, it's much more defined. If I am an associate, I will only do what an associate is supposed to do. I will not go beyond my boundaries. So that there is a much more clear definition of your JD, of your role, and it's a good and bad thing, because it's a good thing because then you have the option to do more, but it's a not so good thing because बगल वाला ज़्यादा कर रहा है तो मेरे को भी करना पड़ेगा pressure में आके. So it works both ways.
Tell me now a little bit, Helly, about your decision. So after 5 years, you said that you either get better at it or you start caring less. सबसे पहले तो आप बताओ आप कौन सी कैटेगरी में थे and how did you manage to continue this for 17 long years? That's like a lot of commitments, like marriage.
Yeah, I think I stopped. I think it was a mix for me. There were periods when I started caring less, and there were periods when some of the things I just got more efficient. Um, and that's linked to your question around the other commitments. So, when you are getting married, you are in a different zone, you are, busy in your life, you start caring less. फिर शादी होती है 1 साल बाद तुम्हें लगता है यार मैं तो बहुत पीछे रह गई suddenly you pick up pace and then you start getting more efficient. Then you have a child and then again your worldview changes. You say, oh, all this doesn't matter, investment banking, all that is fine, but I have to focus on something else. And then, I had my child when I was 7 years into investment banking. So at that point of time, I felt, yaar, मैंने सब देख लिया है. I've been there, done that, I've done enough, and I would just want to take a nice, good break. I don't care anymore. I can survive. So that's how you go through these phases, and somewhere along the line, life also overlaps and interplays, and has an influence on which phase you are in.
Did you manage to give enough time to your? Sorry, it might sound a little personal, but you can choose not to answer. Did you manage enough time to raise your kids because you were in a job that demanded so much from you?
I have my view and I have my daughter's view. So I think she's fine. I mean, that's my worldview. कि ठीक ही है, जैसी भी है, मतलब she's turned out okay. She thinks I've not, and she feels that I did not give her enough time. But what happens is that kids are so resilient, they adapt to the way their parents are. So at the end of the day, now if I am with her more than 4 hours a day, she'll tell me, please go, you're nagging me. So it's fine. We go through our adaptation journey. But a working mom creates an extremely independent child. And that's my learning, and that's not my individual life learning, it's a learning from my peers. A non-working mom will also obviously have a lot more to give their child than probably what a working mom can give. But the kind of independence that gets inculcated in a child of a working mom it's amazing, and I'm extremely proud of what I have been able to give to my child on that front.
A lot of women miss out on their careers because they choose to prefer one over the other.
Yeah.
And personally, if you ask me, I have a problem with that. I think you should definitely prioritize your career at some point, and your partner should be equally responsible for raising the kid. And I asked you this question. I remember I asked a gentleman also about this very question, whether you could give enough time to your kids. And I think it's a kind of a responsibility that is shared when you are in a family, right? But coming back to my question, a lot of women miss out on these opportunities. Do you see that as somebody who's a leader now, who has a say in an organization, that doesn't happen?
Yes, I have seen an extremely pronounced change in the way organizations are looking at women employees, especially on the maternity front. Back then, which is 11 years ago, when I was on my maternity leave, for whatever reason, I took a call that I need to take a sabbatical because I need to focus on maternity at this point of time, and I took a short sabbatical back then. But I think if I had the flexibility and just the support system of an organization which is available today, right from 6-month leaves, work from home, you can take a break and bounce back into work. There are a number of things, and I've personally been working as a maternity coach with a number of women employees. The environment and facilitation today is great, and for every woman out there, I just strongly encourage them that if you feel you want to take a break, please take it, but please make it temporary. Maternity should not be a reason you take a permanent break in your career.